And as you can see, we have our image here. Yo people, what's going on? Thanks for coming back to another episode of ROM Hacking Adventures. And today we're going to be taking a look at a custom image, so putting any image you want inside The Sims 2 Advance. Enjoy! Alright, so I've got two images here, and the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make sure we use the PNG image. So if we go ahead and open this up, you can see I got a nice profile pic here, and we're going to open up a program called Ucenti. And this program will allow us to change the bit depth of this image, basically reduce the amount of colors and the amount of pixels so that it matches the Gameboy Advance format. Now once we open the program, we can go ahead and open up our PNG just like this, and it should open. And next thing we're going to do is re-quantize. So what this is going to do is reduce the amount of colors that we have in the image. So let's go ahead and reduce those to 16. Now you notice it looks a little bit funky, but you can adjust the red, green, and blue right here to fit your needs. Alright, and once you're done, go ahead and reduce the size. So we're going to do size and stretch it so it resizes, and we're going to do 64 by 64. Awesome, so now you can see my image is more pixelated, looking more like a retro image there, and let's go ahead and start putting this in the game. Now the next thing we need to do is actually export this. So I'm going to go to Image, Export, and we're first going to export the palette, or actually let's do just the bin. So we do GBA source, bin, and then I save it, and the BPP, remember that's 4 bits per pixel, so we're going to do that, no compression, and let's make sure that we don't include more than 15 numbers in the palette. And then all of this stuff, I'm going to change this to a binary file and remove the header file. So that's going to get us in the same format we're used to, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and there we go. Here's our palette and the image. So once we got those, I'm going to go ahead and open up Advanced Palette Editor. We're going to open this time the palette file, so evan.pal. And once we open this, we can just type in offset 0. I don't know why it's filling that in for me. Hey, it's Editor Evan here. Sorry for the crappy lighting, but the reason you saw it just went on and didn't stop at 0 was because we forgot a null terminating character, and what that does is that will tell us when the file ends. So all we have to do is make it 1 byte longer. So let's go ahead and go back to Ucenti, and maybe we have to export the palette as 16-bit. This bin file, and I'm going to do 16 instead of 0 for that. Awesome, so now I can go to my palette inside of Advanced Palette Editor. Go ahead and open ROM and go to Evan Palette and search offset 0. And now we can load it, so very important that you save the palette correctly. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and export this, so export right here, and we're going to do, we can do a Paint Shop or Tile Layer Pro. Let's just go with that, Tile Layer Pro. And then now we're going to open up the ROM. Okay, so we're going to open up our copy and then jump to that offset 00815 E68. And so basically what we're doing here is we're replacing the palette we just created or exported. So we're going to replace that and see what the game looks like. So it has all of our image colors. So I'm going to click open now and replace. And let's go ahead and see what it looks like. So you can see the problem here. Everything's all over the place. We messed our colors back up, but it's okay because we're gonna fix it later. But right now we have kind of a messed up wall, as you can see, and we also have the ground is messed up again, which we fixed in the last episode. But the cool thing is, if we paste our image here, the image is gonna look fine. It's just the palette that sort of mixed the wall's colors up in the original game. So we're gonna have to fix those later. But that's for the next episode. For now, let's go ahead and start putting our image on the floor. So first thing we need to do for the next step is we need to go to Tools, palette viewer and export another background palette, because this is just going to make it easier in a format that our next program can open up. So let's go ahead and export that background. Go ahead and close once it's done. And this next program is one of my favorites. It's called Crystal Tile 2. So first thing we're going to do, of course, is open up our ROM. And once you got that open up, we're going to go to this window here. And next, what you want to do is yours is going to be at offset 0. Along with that, it's going to be like this, so it's going to be weird. But what you want to do is basically copy all these settings that I have down. And next, we're going to change this. So GBA, 4 bits per pixel. And then we're going to go to the offset. It's something like 0.0810000. Once we go there, we're going to import a new palette, and that is going to be the palette we just exported. So we go back here to our program, and there it is. There's our palette file. And second of all, we're going to click on this window, click on a tile, and now you can use the arrow keys to move down. And you can hold down the control button and use the left or the right arrow keys to shift the image. So remember, we do that shift because you can see here that the image is not lined up. So I'm going to shift it where it needs to be carefully. And there we go. Now we can see everything is lined up nice and tidy. A couple other controls that are really useful is the shift one, which basically if you hold down shift and do an arrow key, it kind of resizes your canvas so that you have more space. Okay. All right, so enough talk of that. Let's go ahead and paste the image in here. And this is going to probably be the hardest part. So let's go ahead and open up that image. So not the palette, but the IMG. All right, there we go. And as you can see, mine, of course, looks nice because everything's tidied up. But yours is going to look crappy. So, of course, this looks kind of messed up. And also, it's going to, if I go here, it's going to be like all weird and stuff. Like it's going to, yeah, just mess it up. But the offset is going to be 0. And we also want to change this to the same setting we did earlier, GBA 4BPP. And then we're going to import that same palette. So the Sims 2 Advance copy. Awesome. So now you can sort of see the image starting to come together, and it's kind of like one of those puzzle piece thingies that you mix around. So I'm going to hold down shift and basically, oh whoops, you got to click on the tile first. Then I'm going to hold down shift and basically shift this over so that my head fits into place. And then I'm going to press the down arrow key to get the full image. And just like that, we have our image. We have our whatever you want to call it, emblem, something. So let's go ahead and first of all, we're going to figure out how do we need to put this image in here. And it's very specific because if we decide to put it, say, right here, and we use, let's not even do the full space here. Let's just use 6 of these. It's still going to go into the wall because there's just not enough space. So let's just try that, and you can always run the game and see what happens. So I'm going to press and hold down shift and click on the end selection point, and then hold down control plus C, and that will copy that. Now click where you want to paste and do control plus V. Okay, now that's going to paste something right there so we can see it. Now, the tricky thing is you'll notice there's this green part, right? The alternate, or the primary palette, and we're 2 spaces away from that. So that's going to set it up so our image is a little bit shifted in the floor. And what it's going to do is it's going to shift over 2 every time. So in order to line this image up, we have to shift this over 2 more squares each time until the image starts shifting back. And that's kind of the point we need to find, which I've already found, but you'll need to find it if you hack another game that you don't know how it is. So let's go ahead and select the next row, just like we did. And this time, as you can see, I'm going to move it 2 over. So 1, 2. Awesome. Whoops. You got to click down also to save it. And so now I'm going to do a save, kind of see where I'm at, see where everything's looking. All right, so it looks like we actually double pasted ourselves. So we gotta fix that right there. So we gotta fix that by selecting this bottom line here. And let's go ahead and paste that here. So if you make an error, you can just fix it by pasting over it, and that will fix that error. Or you can also do Control Z, but that doesn't always work after you save it. So now let's save it, see what it looks like. Awesome, so as you can see, it just pasted the lower half of my face. So now let's complete that puzzle, which is the fun part. Alright, so I just did the lower half of my face, so that's 4 meta tiles. That's what these big tiles are called, is meta. I think that's what those are called. So let's go ahead and save it and see where we're at. Awesome, so as you can see, we have the lower half of my face. But what we're gonna need to do now is start going backwards. So we're gonna have to go back. And as you can see, we have our image here. If you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to kind of fix this up and make it look genuinely nice, because right now it's kind of slopped together. But that's the fun of ROM hacking, is you learn the game's mechanics. You learn kind of where each of the pixels go, and you just kind of get in there and experiment with it. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.